Good morning. My name is Erik with EJ's Auction and Consignment, and welcome to Bidder's Corner. Everybody that's out there, thanks for tuning in today. We got a special guest, Sean. You are a junior auctioneer. In fact, you're the rookie auctioneer champion at the U.S. Bid Call Championships this year. Yep. Can you tell us something about that?
Actually, yeah. It was 25, 6 auctioneers from all over the country. Went to Vegas to go compete there for, obviously there's a couple of different titles, but to qualify as a rookie, you had been bid calling for 2 years or less, and I happened to, just make it into that category, and it worked out to where I could compete as a rookie, and it went pretty well. It was a good time, a good experience, and I got to go compete with some friends. You as well. You got to go there and represent for the EJ's Auction House and for the Desert Southwest.
The last show, what we talked about was the auction process, gave you some first-time bidders tips. Today we're going to get a little bit more into detail about the auctioneer's perspective. That's why I asked Sean to step into the show today and give us some of his thoughts on it, some of his tips as an auctioneer that helps the buyers be a little better at buying, be a little more educated. Sean, I guess the first thing that most of the people are wondering right now is you. What's your background? What got you into the business? Why are you here today? What brought you here to the auction business?
To the auction business, all right. That one's a pretty straightforward answer, actually. I am not an auctioneer that comes from an auction family. I am what they call a first-generation auctioneer. I was out of high school with some friends that went off to auction school, and they had a chance to go, learn a little bit and start developing a chant. And a good friend of mine became pretty busy with work in the auction industry, and after a few years had started to build a good reputation for himself and started to become pretty busy, and there came a day where he actually needed a hand. He needed an extra hand, so he was calling around looking for people that might be a little bit of a natural fit and might enjoy this type of work, and he thought about me, luckily, and so I had gotten a call to come on down and check it out, and I got to go work as a ringman or a bidder assistant. And that very first day that I went there and did that, I had no clue what I was doing, and my hands were shaking. And at that point in time, I knew I had found something that was
a lot hasn't changed since then.
Yeah, I've just gotten a little better at hiding it. That's all. So for me, at that point in time, I knew it was something worthwhile. Anything that could get me that excited was definitely worth my time. So I decided to start pursuing that. It wasn't long after that I started going to work, and within a matter of a few weeks, I had pretty much quit everything else that I was doing to focus 100% on learning more and trying to build a career. And I went to auction school. I went to the same auction school you went to. I had a chance to, continue learning and growing, and now here I am working in 5 sales a week as an auctioneer, as a ringman, and this is what I get to do. I get to live this life, and it's a lot of fun. There's nothing like it, nothing more exciting as far as what you could do for a living. It's great.
Let me ask you this: as an auctioneer, now you and I both, I've been in the business now going on, oh my gosh, just about 10 years now, which as an auctioneer in this business, that's not very much. I have found a lot of the auction, when we go to National Auctioneers Association's meetings, a lot of the auctioneers that are there are second, third, fourth, fifth generation auctioneers that they were raised in the auction business, been, an auctioneers for years. In fact, some of the guys at some of those places have been an auctioneer since they were 12 and 13 years old, which, man, I wish I'd have become an auctioneer at that age, because it is a lot of fun. But my question for you is, what is it about the auction business, being an auctioneer, that you like so much?
That's a great question. To nail down any one thing would be really hard, but I will say that as far as a profession and as a career, there's seriously nothing as exhilarating as this form of commerce. I mean, you are literally out, you're doing something that's just not retail. You're not doing something mundane and normal. You're out realizing like all kinds of money for product, and the amount of, like I said, just this type of commerce just doesn't compare to anything else. What you're doing when you're buying, you're selling, you're working, there's just an energy about it that's absolutely electric. And if it fits your personality, you will know, and you'll be drawn to it. It's because there's just nothing else that compares.
You know, that's actually funny that you say that, because if you've never been to an auction, it can become addictive.
Extremely.
Buying at an auction can become addictive, because it's not only a way for people to buy items for their home or whatever that they're looking to buy, but it's actually what we found here at EJ's in 2 years that we've been in this location is the amount of regulars that we have. They come here, they buy, but they come for the social event. They
Absolutely.
come for the excitement, the social event. You know, you walk in the door and they're bringing food and drinks for not only the staff here, but they bring them for the other attendees, which is, you don't find that in a retail setting.
No, not at all.
Which is something that's really cool about the business.
It's very cool. That whole social aspect of it is undeniable, and it translates to all different forms of auctions. No matter what you're buying or selling, you find that same common vein in all of those things. And people, we're inherently social beings. You know what I mean? That's
well, some of them are.
Yeah. Well, you'd be a little reclusive.
As some of our bidders, you know, they're not quite so social, which really brings us to our main topic for today. Is going to be really the psychological aspect of being a buyer at an auction. A year or so ago, I did a story for local news station here about bidder psychology, and I really came up with three main personalities to come across as an auction goer. And the first one is the Intimidator. You and I have spoke about this before. Intimidator. That's that guy that you know gets into the auction, will have his bidder card and is really, really pushy. Will hold that number up, eyeball his competition. They're probably fairly easy to deal with.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work out very well for them. Sold something over the weekend, probably
just last Saturday.
Probably $90 to $100 item on a retail value, and that kind of got that Intimidator type into a bit of a bind. Granted, they paid their bill and they were happy to do it, but they paid probably 3 or 4 times what they should have, and it was all part of that ego.
Just because he was,
so
not willing to put his card down because
they
he wanted it.
Putting on that game face and wearing it a little bit too hard. Cost them probably an extra $400 they needed to spend. But hey, that's how they
I found the best way to combat an Intimidator on the auction. I've been to, at this point, I've been to hundreds, if not thousands of auctions at this point that I've conducted or attended and purchased at. I found my best way to combat that as a bidder is to just ignore them. Act like they do not exist.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Don't make eye contact. Don't let them. It's almost like poker.
Yeah.
You don't want everybody else to know that you really want that item, because guys like the Intimidator will make sure that you spend the money on it.
Right.
And then there's the Gloomer. The Gloomer. That's that guy that comes in, sees that you're looking at a desk, for instance, and he'll walk up and go, "Oh, this is scratched up, beat up. Man, this is in really rough condition. Man, I wouldn't spend $10 for it." Meanwhile, when the bidding opens up on that item, he's going to open it up at $100 and be extremely aggressive to buy it. The only reason he did that was to try to beat your price up.
Right, they're trying to discourage competitive bidding, and that's a major no-no. Nobody wants to see that. The sellers want to get fair money for their product, and the buyers definitely want to get in on the action and be a part of that experience too. So then little gloomy guy comes around and says, "Oh, I don't know, it's got a nick over here." Meanwhile, he's waiting to see who's not looking anymore, and
he's behind you trying to bid on it. What I can say, the best thing to combat yourself on that is educate yourself, do your research, know what it is that you're after, know what you're willing to spend on that item, and set your limit before you do it.
And don't let anyone discourage you from that. Get in on preview days, make an assessment about the product you're interested, and like you said, do some research, know what you're willing to spend. Don't let anybody dissuade you from that. Enjoy it.
Exactly. Okay, my last personality is probably the hardest one to combat for me personally, because I am such a sweetheart of a guy, and I'm everybody.
You are.
And I'm everybody's friend, but the friend. That's the guy that comes into the auction. He may see that you're interested in an item, and he'll walk up, strike up a great conversation with you. Instantly, you're high school buddies,
right?
You know, best friends. And he says, "Well, I'm after that too. You didn't want to buy that, did you?" Yeah. Knowing that you want to buy it, he's going to do that to deter you from bidding against him, so he can get it cheaper. And then, of course, after the auction, he doesn't even know who you. He doesn't even know you exist. Who are you? That's the hardest one for me to combat.
Here's my one bit of advice. There's a common saying amongst us auctioneers and auction goers and types. Folks, there's no friends at an auction, just friendly competition, okay?
Exactly. Don't fall into that trap.
Yeah. If you want it,
as an auctioneer, it's funny when we stand up there and we see all these, the way people react during the auction. There should be a movie that we could do that would show different people's facial reactions and body language. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But as an auctioneer, we have lots of different ways of selling. Cadence, you know, you've got an automobile auction. We have our firearm auction. We have a general merchandise auction. There is a distinct difference between each auction. Give me an example of an auctioneer cadence.
Well, like you said, they're all a little bit different. You certainly don't sell real estate at the same speed that you sell cars or furniture, and that extends greatly to whether you're selling to the general public or professional buyers too. That's another little difference on how you might change your speed. But excuse me. So if I was going to actually bust into selling some furniture, I like to use something a little slower, a little poppier, a little easier for people to pick out the numbers in and follow. And here, for example, we like to use $5 increments to start when we're in a lower range. So I might say, I'm bid 5, down 10, dollar bid, I'm 5, get 10, 10, 15, 15, dollar bid, I'm 15, right here, down 20, down 5, and 25, 30, I'm 30, right here, down 5, dollar bid, I'm 35, would get 40. So a little bit like that. Something a little bit fun, a little easier to listen to. Yeah. You used to listen to someone sell 1 or 2 lots, maybe 3. Next thing you know, you've picked out where the numbers are, and it's easy to know what they're asking and what they're looking for. And
now,
that's really
throw me a quick automobile chant.
Oh boy. So if I was selling cars, I might say, we'll sell something, all different types of numbers. And again, when you're dealing with more money, you'll slow it down. But if you're selling something cheap, something from a tow sale or whatever, you might start off and ask them for $1,000 and say, I'm bid one, but I bid $1,000, but I'm here, I'm one, I get 5, and now $550, but I'm 600, but here, I'm $50, but I'm 650, $700, but I'm 7, but here, I'm $5, but I'm 750, down here, I ain't hate, but here, I'm $850, but I'm 850, he did, I'm 9, but here, I'm $950, but I'm 1,000, got him here, I now $1,100, but I'm 7, but I get 12, I'm $1,200, but I'm 1,200, so $1,100, but here.
As an auctioneer, I see that easy to understand, but your normal everyday non-professional buyer would have a tough time with that second one.
Right.
And it's difficult for both of us being able to communicate with some of these buyers that time. But that's why at EJ's Auction and Consignment, all of our chants are clear. All of our items are no reserve. They go for what they go for. EJ's Auction and Consignment, we're going to wrap it up, but every Saturday, doors open at 9 in the morning. First auction is at 10. Ring number 2 opens at 10:30. With ring number 3 opens at 11 a.m. We sell everything from pots and pans to Picasso's, firearms. Again, every Saturday, 3 live auctions, 59th Avenue and Bell in Glendale, Arizona. Come out and see us, see Sean, bid high, bid fast, and bid often.
That's right.
Don't forget to comment and subscribe and tell us what you think of our show. As a reminder, you can participate in some of our upcoming shows that we will be shooting live. We will have a chat line available, but send us any comments that you may have or subjects that you would like to discuss.
There you go.
We can talk about it in an upcoming show. the 2 hours, the 2 days or 2 days, 2 years